Guys, I'm sitting here with three-time IHRA world champion Danny Shortridge Sr. He's building the GTO for me and my dad, and we just want to give an update to share what we're doing with the car. And we've made some decisions on the motor and transmission, and I'm going to let Danny fill us in on that.
Okay.
I think we're going to build a little bit bigger motor, ain't we?
Yeah, I think it's a proper thing to do since the car weighs 3,600 pounds, and your gentle cars this day and time weigh 2,600 pounds. We're fighting with 1,000 pounds of extra weight. So our best bet to get the correct horsepower and torque for this combination would be to build either a 406. I don't like a 421 because you're in the middle. I like a 406, I like a 434, I like a 452. And the 452 starts costing you more money for not much of a reason. The 434 is just the baby doll of all small blocks. The 406 is super close, costs less money, and easier access as far as parts and the complicated machine work that you have to do. You should, on the 434, you should solid up the deck and you should pour the block. The 406, I pour the block, but I don't solid the deck. Solid the deck means that you're putting the screw-in plugs in it and then re-drilling the water holes, and that it comes in to a lot more sophisticated or hard type racing. That, for example, round track racing or something like that, you don't have to have that. But the other part, I feel the pouring of the block to a certain limit, and I like to go about 1/3 of the block. That'll keep the block real cool. If the customer wants to take his car to the park or to a pretty show, big show on a 90-degree day, he can drive it like that, and the car's going to run 175, 180 degrees. It's never going to get hot. It's never going to cause him any issues with head gaskets or any kind of a heating problem. So a customer's going to be happy, and it doesn't cost any more money to go the route I'm talking about going.
It's going to be a fun car. What we're looking for is something we can take to the drag strip and be competitive. But if I want to go to a car show and drive 5 or 10 miles, go grab a bite to eat with a family, we can do that. And I think Danny's got something in store that's going to be just perfect for it. We decided to go with a bigger motor because the 355 that Danny had built in the 80s was putting down, was it 532 it put down?
535 is what I had finally figured it out to be yesterday, was the exact amount that the engine was putting out on 901 Superflow that I had updated to the Windine system. And we now have a brand new 902 system also. So we actually have 3 dynos. We have an updated 901 that has mostly 901 parts. We have a basic 901 that was built to a 902. And then we have a brand new 902 system. So we can do any type dynoing or flow. We use the Superflow 600 to do his cylinder heads with, or anybody's. And his heads, they're probably going to flow somewhere around 350 CFM. Everything is done here in-house. We do all hand porting, and then we put them on the flow bench. If it doesn't get what we want or what we need, then we put them back on. If it takes 20 times, we'll put it on there 20 times until we get it correct. And I think that's one advantage we have over most engine shops. We just don't quit just because it's hard work. We really stay in there and try to get every horsepower we can get, and in some cases you're following certain rules that you can only work on certain areas, and we know all the secret areas to work to stay honest and to stay with the rules.
Just a testament to the kind of motors that Danny builds. The car we're working on, it was my dad's. He raced it a few times after he had it built, and he parked it in the mid 80s, and it's set for 35 years. And Danny pulled the motor, checked the springs, and he threw that thing on the dyno, and it made that much horsepower. He did it right. We'd originally planned on just changing the heads on the motor we have and going with that. And it's been so long ago, obviously, you know, Danny and my dad didn't remember what they'd done to the car, or what kind of head work that they'd done to it. So he pulls the heads off, and they had already been extensively worked. So we saw really quickly that new set of aluminum heads wasn't going to give us really what we were looking for, because this man's a guru, and he was getting the max horse out of that little motor at the time that it would put out. So we're going to go with a bigger motor, and he's going to do the transmission for us. He's also a transmission guru as well. If you need a motor or you need a power glide transmission, this is the guy to come to right here. So we'll take you out in the shop and we'll show you what we're doing and give you a little update. What we're doing here.
All right, here's what we're doing right now. We're going to just take this little 1/4-inch drill, and we're going to drill down through it right now, and this will change over in a few minutes to a 5/16 drill, and then we will do it by the book as far as the hole goes.
So this is our transmission here. What part of it is this?
This is your transmission case.
Okay.
And then what you do, you just center that. And you drill all the way through that. Now what that does, that drills down here, and I'll put a 5/16 bit through it, and it will make that hole bigger. And then what happens when you push your electronic button, it will kick fluid in there, which pushes that piston up against the clutches. And the clutches will be locked right here with a ring. And then when they lock, that means the car just going to sit there. Now you go to the floor with the gas, and then when you want to go forward, you release that button.
Got it.
Now that's the whole thing, but you have to really take your pains, and you have to cut everything the way it's supposed to go. Now we'll come back with a different kind of wire thing which cleans this. Then it goes back in the acid dip one more time before it's built.
Okay.
And then it goes over on that table, and it's not clean either, but it goes back over there, and this is the case that come off of it. And you can see how you had to take it off. You had to drill holes, and it's a rough job. But, you know, this is the only way I've ever thought that you could do it without what happens. When you try to do it the other way, you end up hitting this lip. And you got to be real careful with that, because that lip is the pump lip. And see how smooth this is?
Yes.
All right, well now that's what you want to protect. That lip that's the whole world right there of this transmission. And the cleaner you keep that, I go over everything with burnish, and then I have machines like that little machine there that it'll go through. Then I have big machines like that green machine that'll go through about a 10-minute period there. A lot of this stuff here belongs to you. This is your front shocks. They're 9010s. This is the button that goes on the steering column. It goes on one of the holes right here that fits your hand. There's 3 holes, and mine fits the center one. And you have to get to where you know how much pressure you got on it, you know what's comfortable, and then you know you come off.
Yep.
You don't try to be the quickest man off, but you try to be consistent.
Right.
You have to be the same every time. Now that's your brakes, that's some gauges, that's what you do on these gauges. If you want them black faced, you just pull that chrome piece off, it just flops off. This is the front springs, and they're called trick front springs, and they are trick because you know you're going in the air when you release that button.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows about the transmission.
Yeah.
This is going to be an experimental transmission.
This is an experimental transmission, and right here's what makes it experimental, is the valve body. We are testing several valve bodies, and this is what is going to in your car, one that's similar to this that's back there in the Bridgeport room right now being cut.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a peek at that. And what's going to make it experimental? What are we doing different that's different than any other Power Glide?
You're cutting the grooves. I'll show you right behind you.
Sure.
We're cutting the grooves that transfer the fluid. Say this fluid here, this may be cut out down to here.
Okay.
Okay, and then this one here may be cut over to this one. Whatever makes the most fluid go the distance.
Gotcha.
In other words, you got to have it go from the valve body to the torque converter back to the pump back to the valve body. It has to work like that. And what so many companies have failed to do, they've got them to where they work, but they don't work proper. And when I say proper, I mean when you release it, if it takes 0.3 of a second to do that. Now, if you can get that down to 1, just think about how much it's going to help you against that other guy.
Absolutely.
The other guy's still there, and you're gone. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the goal, ain't it?
That's it. That's the goal.
Oh.
So this right here is some more of your valve body. This is the plates we're making them out of, like this. And we're going to build 2 to start with. And this is a design that we're working off of and changing the flow. And when we get this changed to where we want it, which will be tomorrow, then I'll be able to put this stuff in that transmission. Now that piece goes with it too. That is a piece of it.
All right.
And then your other piece is out here. This here, now you see what we had to do is drill a hole there, put that plug, then we had to cut this down, and what we done here, we lowered that 40 thousandths better than anybody. We lowered that 40 better. We have got this one right here 1 thousandths bigger than all the rest of them we've ever checked. So we know that our 40 thousandths lower. About 20 thousandths on the back side more. So we should be able to pass a lot more fluid, a lot quicker. They should leave the line quicker, and they should grab a hold of the high gear hub. I'm hoping 10 pounds more. 10 pounds a lot. You're looking at 220. If we can get them to grab about 230, we're going to pick up about 200-300 right there. 200-300 is a lot in our transmission.
Yeah. This is one of the things I really like about Danny and his shop is they don't bolt parts on them. What you get's what you get.
Yeah.
They actually put the time into it, and they work it, and they know what they're doing. They can fine tune it and dial it in and make it better.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and we do this for everybody, and you can tell us, you know, if you, well, don't put that much in it, we don't want to spend any extra money on it, we'll go that route. If you've got a budget that you want to live by, but we will also tell you how much that budget is hurting you on power. So you can kind of have it the way that you want it, and then you can have it the way we tell you that you can have it and have more power, whether it's round track or drag racing or just street racing. We do them all, and I believe that you will, the people that will bring us engines will see that they get more than their money's worth when they trade with us.
Just wanted to show you guys all the cams Danny has in stock. He used to build motors for 5 NASCAR teams.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, you designed the cam that Lenati produces now.
That's right, I did. Yeah, there's 317, 330, and I'm the one that designed it for comp cams first, and then when I went with Lenati in '91, I gave them the secret.
There you go.
And they produced it ever since.
And then speaking of NASCAR, your engines won the Daytona 500 twice.
Twice.
What years was that?
94 and 95.
94, 95. This guy puts out some good motors.
Yeah, we have put out some super motors, and we've got a lot of people out there that buy them today, and we ship them to Australia, we ship them to the Netherlands, we have sent them to Hawaii, we've sent them to California, Florida, Maine, about everywhere.
All over the place.
Yeah, just wherever somebody calls us and wants us to do stuff. Our shop is kind of overly full, but we can't help that. You have to keep buying and you have to keep building. And this is a VGS head, computer head machine, and of course your regular head machine's over there. But this is the baby doll to go to if you want to do a set of heads good and quick. That's one of your old heads there. I can personally show you over here what this short turn is that I was talking about.
So this is our old heads here?
That's your old heads there. And this right here, you see that short turn there?
Yes.
All right, that's where we rolled that back. I see where I rolled it there. Well, the minute I seen that, I knowed why it made that power.
Yeah. Definitely got some work in them.
Yeah, I didn't worry about once I seen it. I said, oh, I know, I see what I've done now. But I didn't remember it, that's the truth.
Too many years.
No, I didn't remember. Now, this is your new valve. This is the one that goes in the new heads.
Okay, yeah, and we went with Engine Works, and
Yeah.
that's something else I wanted to put out as well. We're getting parts made in America.
Yeah,
We don't want that.
This is all American stuff.
If it ain't made in America, we don't want it in our car.
We don't want it, and we try to buy all of the Manley stuff or the Engine Works stuff as far as cylinder heads go, and we don't buy none of this junk.
That's right.
We just don't buy it. And yeah, we have a lot of good manufacturers out there or good warehouses that sell that junk, and they'll sell it to us for $500–600 less than American stuff. But I'd rather pay the extra money and know that both pieces are the same.
Right.
You know, it's a shame to get a load in here and then you can't put it together because it's junk. This in here, you have to be careful how you walk around this place. This is where I balance your crankshaft. Your crank will be in here next. This one is a big block for a guy, and this is being done now, and then yours goes on it next, and then your engine, I'm hoping to have your engine ready to take to the track by the 15th of May and test it. And then I'll call you, I'll tell you where we at, and then me and you'll go up there, and your wife, whoever wants to go, and then we already know what we're up against when we get there. I don't have to get up there and have you with me and make me a little shook up because the customer's there. I always take them, and then I do all the work. And then when you come, it's a pleasurable trip because you're not going to come. I'm not going to let you come until I know it's right. I'm going to keep you away from it. And then when it's perfect, then I call you and I say, hey, look, let's have some fun.
Sounds good.
Let's go to the track.
Sounds good.
And we more than likely will go to Loudon because, am I getting this right? Manorville. We'll probably go to Manorville unless you all have a better track. And the reason for it is Manorville is absolutely the best track around here, and they know me. I don't race there a lot, but if I want to test something, I'd rather go there. I know the clocks are right. I know the bleach area where you burn your tires. I know that's right. They used to have a bad bunch of concrete that had water in it and it ruined your tires. So we quit going down there for years. Well, when we explained to them what was wrong, they finally busted all that up and redone it. So now it's a good track.
We'll go wherever you want to go.
So I think Manorville is the place for us to take it, test it. I've got cars that are running down there in the 640 range that don't have the power you're going to have. They are lighter cars, but hopefully we can make enough power more than them to where even our cars heavy will still be down there with them, you know. If we can if we can finally get down in some 30s or 40s within 6 months or something, I'll be satisfied right
Yeah,
down there.
that'd make me happy too.
For 40 years, this is how good the stuff looks, and everybody looks at the skirt. That's called a skirt after 40 years.
Looks good, don't it?
Mm-hmm. If they know anything and they look at that, they're going to say that is absolutely unbelievable. This is the carburation that goes into it. These are not these heads are similar to the ones that you get, but they're not the head. That head there is a straight plug head, but they're similar to those heads. And a boy up in Ohio does them for me. He's got his own casting place. He does John Force's rods. He does my rods. The name of it is Fowler, and he don't advertise that he does this stuff because he don't want to do it. He just does this as favors for a very few select people. And then I guess maybe another 5 years, probably he won't be doing them at all, you know, because he's a little bit older than me. Now this is the carburetor right here. This is the one I ran on the car. And I'm gonna send this carburetor with you because it since I got done with it and took that junk off somebody had put on it, it was a real mess. But now, once I got it straightened out, I ended up putting a metering plate and some needle seats and stuff in it. It really is an outstanding piece, $1,000 piece. So I'm gonna put that back in a new box. You keep it. This is your new one here. This one here comes apart, have the drilling and the polishing and the stuff that it takes to make them run. And this plate here, if it's as good as this plate, I will keep it. And if it don't, then I'll call one in. This is the important plate, not this one. If you get that one right, you're looking about 35 horsepower.
Wow.
One plate.
And what type of carburetor is that?
This one here is a, I'm trying to Proform, started out as a Proform, and what they done, they bought this piece from Holly. They made CV Products build these three pieces here. That was done on a 5th axe Haas, and you can kind of see here the little ribs it puts in them. You can always tell when they come off of a Haas, and they're made a little different. It makes a little impression in it. And these 3 pieces come from them. This comes from Holly. These 2 bowls are 2 that they had Holly special build for them. So these 3 pieces, one company. These is Holly, but all this stuff here belongs to Holly. All this little stuff. This little stuff here now that they've put in that plate, CV Products designed that, and then they use one of them for vacuum advance, one of them for some of the old cars, like back in the 30s, they'll use them for the windshield wipers and stuff like that, you know.
Yes.
And they usually have one here, but they put them both over on the side. And this carburetor here will be probably at least 15 horsepower over this one when I get done. But we want to go with enough cubic inches to make it worth our while. Since we're going to do it, you know, I'm going to go, I'm not going hog wild and go up to that 452, but I'm apt to do a 06 or a 34. One of the two is what it'll be. You'll know when I'm done, and you also get to watch it run on dyno.
That sounds good. I'm interested to see what it'll put out.
Yeah, if it puts out anything over 640 horsepower, I'll be happy, you know. If it makes 735, I'll like it too. This right here, rocker arms, none of them will be used. I'll put full race rocker arms on it that are steel billet, and they'll be roller, and they don't break. These break. If you put them on the motor we're building, it won't last an hour, because what it does, it breaks them in half right here. You can see where I've cut them. Now, the reason I cut them was to bypass the inch 625 springs I've got on it. Now, without that, they would have broke first time it turned over. But these will work. They don't build no better stud girdle than Crane. Taking all this apart, when we ordered the new axles, this becomes a lot better back here as far as room and stuff like that, because we're getting rid of all that junk.
Yeah.
All of the gunk.
Yeah, and we're doing a mini tub as well, so that'll allow a little room for some bigger tires.
The mini tubs look like they're 4 inches. When we get them in here, I don't know what they'll be, but they're at least 4 inches.
Okay.
This up here, all that'll be gone.
Yeah, we're going to put some nice Willwood brakes on it as well.
And over here, we're going to build this. Randy, he's the master on this kind of stuff, and he will take all the wiring out, and then he will make that piece that goes in there correctly, and it'll be what I call tasteful.
No, I like that.
Yeah,
we're taking the heater out and we're going to put a plate on the firewall.
All that old stuff over there, that old pair of brake stuff, all that's gone. This old steering, all that's gone. Yeah. Okay, I'm Danny Shortridge Sr., and I own Shortridge Engines, Price is Right Auto Parts, and now we've started manufacturing Paraglide racing valve bodies, DRS racing engines.
And how do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me by calling 865-719-3312. All of our stuff is guaranteed. You can run any class, and we do the engines. We keep over 2,000 engines in stock. Anything you would want, we probably have, from a 409 Chevrolet to a 1930 model Chevrolet 6-cylinder.